Okay, so welcome everyone. So I wanted to focus this call today on this feeling of overwhelm that so many of us experience. I remember periods of overwhelm myself, definitely in my life, and I'm sure all of you have experienced overwhelm at certain times in your life. Would anyone like to share with me what they think that this overwhelm is? And if you've
Mm,
experienced it.
I guess just um too many like neurons and stuff firing, overloading the nervous system. The nervous system can't regulate it. That's kind of
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I
or the other route for me is more the dorsal vagal shutdown. That's when I kind of feel overwhelmed.
Yeah, that's when there's been too much overwhelm, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, and what about, Lisa, what contributes to the nervous system dysregulation? What's happening to do that in the first place?
Um, yeah, actually lately there's been when I've tried to do detoxes and stuff and it just overwhelms me, flares me,
So for
dysregulate.
you, physical sensations, right? So I'm doing a detox, and that's
Yeah, like
too
treatments
much.
for infections.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. Or too
Even
much
though we
sun.
all know to do detox very slowly, right?
Yep.
Everyone understands that any kind of detox you want to be doing it, approach it very, very gradually and slowly, so there's less of the overwhelm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's I just had recently had some detox and then a cardiolite stress test, and I think it's just flared up all my mast cell stuff. I went to the dentist the other day and had fillings, and I came out and I was red all over my face, just having a histamine flare.
Yeah, so it
Oh,
sounds like your nervous system is still very dysregulated,
yeah.
right? Yep,
Yep.
that's pointing to that direction. So yeah, so physical experiences that we have definitely can lead to overwhelm. What
Sometimes
else?
for me, I get overwhelmed when number one, I am doing too much for my capacity, but probably most often just certain people. I've tried to eliminate toxic people or minimize how much time I'm with them, but I can feel overwhelmed when I'm around somebody whose nervous system is extremely dysregulated themselves.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
they're not aware of it, of course, but it
yes.
it triggers me into overwhelm. It's just too much.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Mm-hmm.
not, yeah,
And again, I totally understand that. And then again, an indication of a dysregulated nervous system. Okay.
hmm,
When our nervous systems are dysregulated and we're in the sphere of somebody else who's dysregulated,
yeah,
it's not a good fit, right? Because
yeah,
as human beings, from the moment that we are born, from the moment we take our first breath, guess what we're looking for?
safety,
Yes,
connection,
and co-regulation.
co-regulate. Yes, of
Co-regulation,
course.
right? So
Yeah,
all you mothers out there, you know about that. Yeah. When the
yeah,
child is dysregulated, what do we need? What's required of us to co-regulate with them?
Hold them,
hmm,
hug them, make them feel safe.
Yeah, we've got to center ourselves, we've got to ground ourselves. And if
Yeah.
our nervous systems are dysregulated and we're trying to do that, whoa, what's happening
yeah,
inside of us, right?
yeah,
Yeah, it's really difficult. And if you and most people come into becoming a parent dysregulated. Let's face it,
yeah,
I certainly was.
yeah,
And I was told I was the most calm, Zen-like person, but internally I wasn't.
Yeah.
I was like, what do I do here? What do I do here? What do I
Yeah.
do here? And I'd had no mothering. I'd lost my
Yeah.
mother when I was 2 years old. So I
Oh
was
no.
always second guessing this mothering thing. Am I doing it right? What do I do now? Okay. And I just
Were you the
really had to, I just really had to get in tune with my instincts and my gut and
yeah,
I don't know what it was, but I found it, you know. So what were you
good.
going to say, Claire?
I was just curious, were you put into a parental role then? Were you the oldest or did
I
you
was
have
the
to
youngest. I was the
oh,
youngest, and I was only 2 years old when I
yeah.
lost my mother. So it had no mothering.
Okay.
Yeah, or two
Yeah.
years of it, I should say. I had 2 years. I know
Well,
that would have
yeah.
been very loving, and but I've never known my mother. So being a mother myself and co-regulating,
Hmm.
okay, it requires a lot. Requires a lot. So yes, that can lead to overwhelm if you're dysregulated and you're trying to co-regulate with your child or your partner who may be dysregulated as well, um, or anyone, right?
Hmm.
Who, hi there. um, Okay, so anyone else? What causes you overwhelm? So we have the physical,
I know. Yeah. I have cognitive.
Lisa was saying.
Yeah, cognitive overwhelm when like on Monday morning I come in my office and I have a list of things I'm going to start on and then it's just
Oh,
I get
lists will always lead to overwhelm. Good one,
I'm like
Lisa.
I sort of start
Lists.
that and then I go, no, I'm not sure if I should do that first. And then I find within an hour my brain fogged and shutting down. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Anyone else? So overwhelm is about too much, right? Too
Hmm.
much of something,
Yeah.
too much of many things.
Yeah. I recently I've been trying to I'm homebound and so I've been trying to take little outings like 15 minutes in the car or whatever with my husband.
Yes,
And
yes.
last weekend we went to a nearby park, which I hadn't been, this is new to me. I mean, I was healthier before I started the program. But anyway, we went to the there was a playground there right when you park your car and walk up, and it was huge. They had really added to it since I've been there like 5 or 6 years ago, and it was a beautiful day. So with all the bars and the conglomeration of play sets, and then all these little ones squealing and running and chasing each other, and just walking in out of the car and moving towards that because the path went around that to down to a pond.
Mm.
I mean,
Mm.
I just was like, Eric, I need to turn around. I need to turn around.
Yes,
It just,
yeah.
it hit me
So
so
too
unexpectedly.
much activity, too much
Yeah,
noise, all
yeah.
became overwhelming for you.
But
Yes,
once I
yes.
walked down further, we sat on a bench and listened to the babbling brook. I was able to calm myself
Calm you
immediately.
down.
Yeah,
Wonderful,
yeah.
wonderful, wonderful. And we're going to get into some tools in a minute of what's happening in the brain and how you can help yourself to lessen this overwhelm. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So some other things that I've experienced and come up with and seen with clients since I've been coaching is these enormous pressures that we place on ourselves, the enormous expectations that others have of us and that we place on ourselves as well, the demands. you know
Mm-hmm.
you're all women here. I don't know if all of you are mothers, but I know being a mother, also working, also keeping, my house and my gardens and everything going, there were a lot of times when all those, what I felt were expectations and pressures and demands, would
Mm,
become overwhelming, too
mhm.
much. And also overwhelm is about not getting what we need, not getting the support we need, not getting the caring that we need.
Yeah.
Because as human beings, we're village people, right? We're meant to be all living in a village. We originally started in a cave. There was always somebody else there to mind the children, to help us with gathering the berries. And whatever it was, there was always somebody else there. But the way that we live now, we're just so far from that, living in a village, right?
Mhm.
I know for myself, I did everything I could to create a community around me. I would just gather people. When the soon as the children, well, before the children were born, I played a lot of sport. So I always had my sporting community, my team around
Yeah.
me as my village, and we all socialized and interacted with each other and became lifelong friends. I still have those friends now.
Mm.
And then when I had my children, it was play groups and the other mothers. So you made your village there, and then as they went to school, your village became your school parents. And then the friendships that you have to actually go out and create a village for yourself to
Mhm.
get the support and help that you need so that you're not constantly in this overwhelm. Okay. And same for the dads. Same for the dads who are at home taking care of children and working, not just women. So overwhelm also can be our thoughts, right? They can be our thoughts. Who understands that our thoughts directly impact our body? Is there anybody here who still needs convincing of that? Everyone got it? Anyone not sure how our thoughts impact our symptoms, our bodies? Here's a little exercise that I love to share where you can directly feel this. All right. So, what I want you to do is just close your eyes and I want you to think of a song that you love that you would dance to immediately. As soon as you hear it, you want to dance to it. You got that? Yeah. And Lisa, I can see you already moving. Same with me, mine is I will survive. I will survive. And immediately I start doing this dancing inside of me, you know?
Mhm.
So did everybody experience that? You just wanted to move your body when you heard that dancing song?
Mhm.
Yeah. What was your dancing song, Lisa? Oh, you would unmute.
I said, I've got to block for a second, go to someone else. I'll come back to you. I just can't
Ah,
think of the name.
okay, whatever it was good. You had some good
Okay.
moves there. Claire, did you have a dance?
Yeah, I do. Well, this is more recent, but I love to stand and sway to jazz music. But more
Yes. Ah,
recently, my grandson came to visit. He's only 20 months old. And I don't see him but twice a year. He lives far away, but he came,
yes.
and we have a teddy bear that you press the foot, and it
Mm.
sings this little song, "I love you," and it goes on, and it's just kind of dorky. But he sat next to me, and we were swaying and waving our hands,
Ah,
and
gorgeous.
now it's like it makes me smile and feel so happy.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
now I play that song, even though he's not here. I'll push the foot once in a while of this bear, and my body just automatically moves. And
That's right.
when I play the little video, my sister, my daughter-in-law taped it for 30 seconds. And I'm
Uh-huh.
just watching it and my body is swaying. So
That's
yeah,
it. That's it.
yeah,
And this little exercise is about you just have to think of it and
yeah,
your body will move, right? So
Mine was
that's a
Dua
great
Lipa.
example of how our thoughts impact our
yeah.
bodies. And I want you all to remember how powerful that is. And
Mm.
there's a lot of evidence, there's a lot of science to back that up. Okay, Lisa?
I was just saying the singer is Dua Lipa, and I can't remember the name of it, but I watch the video sort of every day, and there's a little dance routine that they do and with their dancers. So I try and copy it. Not so well, but
Yeah.
that's fine.
Lovely, lovely.
Yeah.
And that's a really good little exercise to do for yourself if you're just feeling a bit down in the dumps and
Yeah.
not great,
Yeah.
just do that. Just think of the song. If you can't press the teddy bear's foot or you can't play the video, just do it in your mind.
Hmm.
It's really powerful, really powerful.
And it typically puts a
Okay.
smile on your face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
It
that's
brings
right.
us
So
joy. Yes.
imagine all the happy hormones that are getting released just
Yeah.
doing that. Just the thought of that song in
Yeah.
your head releases, you know, the dopamine, the serotonin, oxytocin, everything that you need,
Yeah.
to feel happy. We
Mhm.
I
we can
typically
make ourselves happy, right?
I
Yeah.
typically
Okay,
forget
so
all
the
about
other
oh,
the
sorry.
other way to that we often experience overwhelm is our feelings, right?
Mm,
Our feelings. How
mm,
often do we have these emotions inside of us and we get so overwhelmed by them? Grief, sadness, fear, all these
Loneliness.
emotions,
yeah.
they will create overwhelm. Okay.
Loneliness. Loneliness. Yeah.
Yeah. Lonely.
Chaos,
Yeah.
loneliness. Yeah, loneliness, absolutely. Chaos. If you've been brought up in chaos, if you're living in chaos, that will definitely bring about overwhelm. Some people, they can't stand clutter. Do you know?
Mm,
Um, one of my sisters, you walk into her house and there's barely anything there, just a
mm,
few little things. She does not like clutter. She doesn't like lots of things on her kitchen bench or anywhere else. The house is
mm,
very tidy, very clean, and otherwise she feels overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
mm,
So
My
there's a
my
lot of
mother's
lot of
my mother's like that, and growing up with someone like that is very stressful for the rest of the people in the household because everything had to be
yes.
perfect all the time, and when it wasn't, she'd be stressed out, you know? She's like, I can't work in
mhm.
a muddle, I can't work in a mess. And I'm like, it's not a mess. You should see most people's houses. This is clean as anything, you know,
Right.
but
That's right. But
it's
to
just
her
her system.
brain, it's a mess and it
Yeah,
creates overwhelm inside of her,
yeah,
right? Because she may have been brought up with chaos and clutter,
yeah,
or she's been brought up in a very clean, tidy house.
yeah,
So the brain often does one or the other.
yeah,
It's like it cannot stand chaos and clutter because you were brought up in that. And so
right.
that triggers this overwhelm,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
the other way around. The house was
Yeah.
always pristine and you were not left, you couldn't leave anything around the place. You'd get yelled at. So
Yeah.
can anybody else think of anything else? I feel like I've covered most of it
That's most of it.
that you've experienced of overwhelm. Noise, we have the list, Lisa, physical, doing things physically can overwhelm us for sure. I remember when I was nursing, racing around from room to room with all this pressure on you to do this and do that and just constantly. And yeah, that overwhelm wasn't very nice to feel
Mm.
like that. It was such a relief, when you finished your shift. Just a total relief because you were just going, 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 going the whole time.
Yeah.
All right. So, one of the most important things to understand about overwhelm is that now, if you've experienced a lot of overwhelm throughout your life, and remember, whatever's happening in the brain starts from when we're very, very young, starts
Hmm.
from when we're even in the womb. Okay. There's many studies that show that when the baby's in the womb and the mother's in overwhelm, guess what's happening to the baby? The neural pathways are already forming a stress response.
Yeah.
Okay. So it starts from way back there. And not blaming the mothers out there. They're just doing the best that they can, just like I did the best that I could. And I didn't know any of this stuff back then.
Hmm.
So we experience all these moments of overwhelm where there's been chaos and busyness and um, strict family demands, pressures within the family. And then again at school, all those school years, we're experiencing overwhelm constantly. Get that exam done, get those essays done, get all those tests done, constant overwhelm. And so now we have a neural pathway for that. We have a strong neural pathway. Have you ever seen um, the ruts in the road, where a car's just been going over that rut over and over and over again? And um, it's really clear that's there. That's what our neural pathway is. We've had overwhelm, 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 and now we have a deep, deep groove in our neural circuit for this overwhelm. So what we want to do is rewire that neural pathway. And this is the wonderful thing about neuroplasticity is whatever it is that you have learnt, whatever it is that you have experienced that you're repeating, that you're experiencing, that you're feeling now can be reprogrammed. You can build new neural pathways and get out of that rut. Okay.
Mm.
There's several ways that you can do that. With overwhelm, the best way to do it, I feel, is what I call mindful micro moments throughout the day. So I'm going to go through that with you and teach you how to practice this. Okay. And it is a practice like all neural pathways, creating neural pathways in neuroplasticity. It's about repetition and consistency. Okay. So, say for example, Claire, the
Yeah.
noise is overwhelm for you. You
Yeah.
experience noise is overwhelm. What you would do is using this mindful micro moment exercise, you can, and this is where a device might be handy, Lisa, is you can set an alarm in your whatever device you use for, say, every 15 minutes, every half hour, every hour, whatever you choose. Put a timer on, and what you're going to do is when that goes off, you're going to do this. So would someone like to volunteer? Claire, would you like to volunteer and I'll take you through this
Sure. You bet.
exercise? Okay.
Yep.
All right. So when you're ready, the
Okay.
first thing you want to do is just close your eyes and take a couple of just natural, easy breaths that center you, that ground you. Okay. And then what you want to do next is notice if there's any noise around you and tune into that. So the first part is notice, tune in. And the next part you want to do is acknowledge what you're thinking and feeling.
Mm.
So this, for all of you, this goes for anything and everything that overwhelms you. Just use this exercise. The reason why we acknowledge is what happens if a small child is wanting something from you and you just ignore them and you don't acknowledge them. What happens?
They get louder and louder, demanding.
Louder and louder and more demanding. And that's exactly what your brain will do. Okay, because your brain is giving you this signal for you to pay attention. So if
Mm-hmm.
you don't acknowledge it, it's going to make it even louder.
Mm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so so then now you acknowledge that noise, Claire,
Okay.
and you can do it out loud if you're okay to do it out loud, or you can just do it internally if you want to do it internally. You know, you might be doing this and somebody's around you and you don't want to do it out loud.
Yeah. No,
But
I will. Does it have to be like right at this moment or something that happened this afternoon?
whatever you want to do,
Well,
whatever you want to do.
what came to mind then is it was a beautiful day. I was sitting on our deck and it overlooks common ground and woods. It's very peaceful. Well, the house right next door to us, that was a widow who I became real good friends with. Anyway, she moved, and there's a flipper, a buyer who bought the house to flip it. And so he is doing it himself, and he had to finish the whole redo the basement, and he's tearing down walls, a lot of noise, a lot of
Very,
hammers, a lot of
yeah,
pounding.
renovation noise, right?
And so it was really quiet when I sat in the chair on the deck, and I enjoyed that
Uh-huh.
for about 5 minutes. And then all of a sudden, it's right
Yes,
next door. And my mind, as soon as
yes,
I hear it, I'm like, oh no. And the
yes.
reaction comes, right? So I'm like,
Okay.
oh, how long is this going to take? This is
Yes,
so disruptive to our peaceful background here. I can't
yes,
stand that noise. I wish he'd
yes.
quit. When's he going to
Uh-huh.
quit? I mean, these
Uh-huh.
are all the first thoughts that ran through my
Yeah,
head.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's great. So instead of, normally we kind of suppress those feelings and thoughts,
Yeah.
or we might, say it to our partner or somebody who will listen, but that doesn't shift the neural pathway, right?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
this trigger of the noise for you, for somebody else, it'll be, an emotion or a sensation in their body. But
Hmm.
whatever that overwhelming feeling is, that's where you want to be able to rewire that neural pathway in the brain. So
Yeah.
tune in,
Okay.
acknowledge, just like you did then, and then you want to redirect that neural pathway and you want to do it in that moment. Now, the
Okay.
reason why you want to do it in the moment is because the neurons are firing and wiring at the time when you
Mm.
bring that problem to mind, and or even if it's happening right then and there, that's your best time to
Yeah.
shift a neural pathway, is when it's firing and wiring together.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so then what you can do is you can place your hand on your collarbone here, and you can just be repeating all those things that you just said. Can you do that? But
Repeating.
also what you want to do is when you tune in, this is really important, guys. When you tune in, notice where you feel the feelings in your body. So when you're listening to that noise, Claire, where do you
Mm-hmm.
feel that feeling in your body?
My gut. My gut
In your
gets
gut. Yeah.
really yes.
Tight. Okay. That's really good because then as you're doing this gentle tapping on the collarbone, you can now go, yeah, that feeling right there in my gut.
Yeah.
Right? And let that go now. I'll let that go because that's the brain speaking to you directly through a physical sensation. And
Mm-hmm.
now go ahead and repeat what you felt and what you thought.
Like the irritation. I feel irritated. I feel fearful. Like, how am I going to get over my noise sensitivity with this going on? Um, a
When's it
lot of
ever going to end, right? When's this
yeah,
ever going to
yeah,
stop? He's doing this every day. I've lost my
yes,
peace and quiet.
yeah.
When's it ever going to stop? Just let that go. Just let that go. Now, you want to do 4 to 5 of what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what sensations are happening in your body. And now you want to reassure your brain and help it to shift by soothing, comforting, loving, kind words. So you want positive affirmations instead now. So what
Okay.
could you say to yourself?
Um, Claire, I know you're hearing that noise, and it's okay. It's not going to last forever, and you can always go inside and come back later. And the other thing to remember, Claire, is that they're bettering this house. You're going to get a new neighbor, and it's going to be a beautiful house. So, this is all part of the process. And I can tolerate this noise. I've tolerated noises louder than that. So, you're safe.
Well done.
It's
Well done.
okay.
Good,
Yeah.
good. That's fantastic. How good is that? Right? Reassuring and speaking to yourself like that scared little girl,
Yeah.
comforting yourself like that scared little girl, which is often what happens when we're in situations like this. We go back to that scared little boy, that scared little girl. And now you want to take a deep breath in, a long, slow exhale out. And just place your hands together like this and press them together, just like that, just firmly together. That grounds you and centers you and brings you back into your body.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And now the next part, Claire,
Mm-hmm.
is go back to that situation in your mind. You
Okay.
were sitting out on the balcony, just enjoying the scenery and the beauty. And all of a sudden, the hammering, the sawing, the banging, the crashing, your peace is gone out the window. This noise, right? And noise causes a lot of overwhelm for you. You have experiences where noise is overwhelm,
Mm-hmm.
right? Loud voices, those people you don't want to be around, noise.
Yeah.
And now, when you go back to seeing yourself sitting on the balcony, what's changed? What's different? What's happening with your neural pathways now?
Well, I mean, it feels like the noise is further away because I'm putting my focus on me and the inward of what's going on. And
Yes.
so it's still going on and it's still
Mm-hmm.
loud, but it feels like
Mm-hmm.
somebody's turned down the volume because
Wonderful.
I've accepted it and I don't have to let it ruin my day. I'm still
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm safe
Good.
and I've got options. I can either go in, I can
Fabulous.
sit here and enjoy it, I could turn on some music for myself or put on headsets.
Yeah.
I've got options and it feels good. I'm not trapped.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you can see what's happened there with your brain. Your prefrontal cortex has come back online and it's given you all these other options.
Yeah.
Whereas when we're in that fight
Yes.
flight response of that noise triggering me, that shuts down.
Yeah,
Right? And
that's
we're
true.
full on into it's like that noise is the tiger,
Mm-hmm.
and your
And you
brain just
lose your
wants to.
ability to be creative and look at other possibilities.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. So what you did then was you listened to your brain,
Mm-hmm.
okay? You tuned in, you listened to your brain, what it's telling you, I really don't like this. And you shifted that and you acknowledged it. That's really important so it doesn't get louder. If your symptoms get louder, if your pain gets louder, you are not listening and acknowledging what your brain is trying to tell you.
Mm.
Okay. So
Yep.
listen to it, acknowledging it. But then while the neurons are firing and wiring together, remember, that's your ideal opportunity in neuroplasticity to make a
Yeah.
change. And boom, straight away, the brain starts to change, right?
Mm.
Now, you've got your alarm set and you do this every 10 minutes, 15, 20, half an hour, whatever is best for you. You work it out, right? When I teach this to busy dads who are working, busy mums who are working, I say you just do it when you can throughout your day, right? It might just mean when you go to the loo, it might just mean at morning tea time, afternoon tea time, driving home,
Mm.
whatever. But the more you interrupt it, which is taking those mindful micro moments by tuning into what your brain's trying to tell you, if you do that regularly throughout your day, you are not going to experience overwhelm.
Mm.
So, because overwhelm is not listening to the brain, not listening to our gut, not listening to what it is that we need to keep us safe
I have a question.
throughout the day. Okay. So
So
you
are
can
these things,
choose anything you want and then just practice that throughout the day. So most of us have a pattern of something that creates overwhelm.
yeah.
We'll be in some kind of pattern. So if you choose the pattern, is it like Lisa, is it the list? If the list is creating overwhelm, you might want to work on that. For somebody else, it might be suppressing their emotions. They have to tippy toe around people all the time. So they
Mm.
might be suppressing these emotions. And then the more you suppress it, and your brain's giving you warning signals, but you're suppressing it, at the end of the day, you're going to be in overwhelm with that emotion. And then you'll fly off the handle, as
Yeah.
these dads are telling me. I get home, they tell me, and I'm just flying off the handle at my kids for no reason at all.
Mm.
What's going on? Right?
Mm.
Because they haven't stopped and tuned in and cleared that neural circuit throughout the day. So it takes practice, okay? It takes practice, it takes doing it regularly. And like any new tool that you add to your toolbox, it has to be done consistently. And I've found using the alarm is often the best way. Once you've done it a few times, you won't need
Mm.
to set the alarm. Your
Mm.
brain will have an internal alarm. It'll say, time to tune in, Lolita. Just stop for a minute, tune in, check in. What's your brain trying to tell you?
I have a question. So
Mm-hmm.
are you suggesting that it's something that is overwhelming us at that time or a memory, or are we looking at different overwhelm experiences throughout the day, or are we practicing the same one over and over in the day?
If there's a pattern of whatever it is that's overwhelming you, so for you it's noise. For somebody else, it'll be I'm doing too much.
Mhm.
For somebody else, it'll be emotion,
Mhm.
right? Say anger or something.
Mhm.
And so all patterns, whatever the pattern is learnt. It's a learnt neural pathway for that pattern. So for you, the noise is a learnt pattern. Noise
Yeah.
triggers you. Somebody else could be sitting out there on the balcony, it wouldn't bother them at all,
Yep.
right? But for
True.
you, because noise is a trigger, noise is a pattern, and so noise is the neural pathway, that's what you want to focus on for a while.
Okay.
Okay, until the noise is no longer a trigger, because yes, it is unconscious. It is all the experiences that you've had of noise in the past.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lisa?
Yeah, I just had a question when you were mentioning that about noise and that being her pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I know sometimes I can have that, the sensitivity. What if you have your brain is inflamed or you've got the mast cell activation, like histamines degranulating and it's impacting your brain? And those things are in that moment because I can listen to, say, the music on my radio in the morning when I'm getting ready. And then maybe later on in the day, if I'm having a histamine reaction or something, then everything is more sensitized. So will that still work if you've got other physiology or pathology going on underneath that's kind of creating that
Well,
sensitivity?
it
Do you know what I mean?
sounds like to me, and others can jump in here as well, but it
Yeah.
sounds like to me that what is actually overwhelming you is all those labels, is
Mm.
all those, what do you call them?
Well, me, there's sensations when I'm having those symptoms
No,
and that
no, no,
there's
no,
sense.
no.
Oh,
The
okay.
when you talk about my mast cell, my brain's inflamed, my this and my
History.
that and my
Right.
this and so you've got a long list of labels that
Right.
others have given you. Oh, Lisa, that must be mast cell. Oh, Lisa, that must be your brain inflamed. Oh, Lisa, that must be
That's
this.
me
It must
giving
be that.
myself the labels based on what I'm feeling, how it
Ah,
feels.
you giving yourself those
Yeah.
labels. Okay,
Yeah.
because that's what you're focused on, that's what you're searching for, that's what you're looking for to make sense of your condition. It
Yeah.
must be mast cell, you say to yourself,
Well,
because
I
this
know
is
because I might be
happening.
flaring. I'll have like rashes on my
Yeah,
face. So it's obvious. And
so
then the
I've got
brain fog comes. So yeah.
yeah, so I've got brain fog, I've got this, I've got that. It must be mast cell, or it must be this, or it must be that. So it
Right.
sounds like your actual overwhelm is giving yourself those labels.
Okay.
Does that
Mm.
make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah, but I guess to me, I know what you're saying, but I guess to me, it's like I get the symptoms and then they, interrupt
But
my day
but
or what I'm trying to do.
but Lisa,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
if your symptoms was just your brain trying to get your attention, speaking to you? What if that was what your symptom was and it was not mast cell? I mean, this whole mast cell thing has only been out the last, what, 10 years maybe? I'd
Well,
never
there's
heard
been,
of it when I was sick 30 years
yeah,
ago.
but there's a lot
I
more
was
going on that's
having all
impacting us.
those symptoms. Nobody told me, oh, you've got mast cell,
But
right?
they know now what's happening though. They're learning more and a lot more things are
But
triggering it, like
so
EMFs and all kinds of things.
what about all the people who weren't given that label? It was mast cell and they still recovered.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but they're understanding what it is that what the sensations and symptoms are. Like when my face is going red from something I've eaten that's high in histamine and I've got histamine overload,
But
like I
what
know what
if
it is.
high histamine is your dysregulated nervous system,
Yeah,
right? Which mast cell is as well. That all of
yeah,
those symptoms point to a very hypersensitive nervous system.
Right.
Okay, so
Yeah.
would it be less overwhelming for you to see it like that, to shift your mindset to, this is my brain speaking to me, and this is just a dysregulated nervous system, a hypersensitive nervous system.
Okay.
Is that less overwhelming than my brain's inflamed, I have mast cell, I have this, I have this, I have this, I have this? Is that less overwhelming?
Yes.
Okay, so this is what I would do for you. I would
Yeah.
use that same exercise
Mm-hmm.
because this sounds like a very deep neural circuit for you. This,
Yes.
all these labels that you've given yourself. You've got a really strong neural pathway for that because that's the first thing you're going to every time you have a symptom, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what I would do if I were you, set the alarm if you want to, or whatever, however you want to do it,
Yeah.
is go through that sequence, right? And you'll be able to go through the recording, and I'll also add a document to the messenger group that you can follow it. A really
Okay.
easy little document to
Yep.
follow. Once
Yep.
you do it a few times, honestly, it just becomes automatic. I love
Yeah.
doing it. I love
Yeah.
doing that. Just checking in with myself. It's the deepest way of honoring yourself as a human being.
Mm.
To stop and tune in to what's my brain trying to tell me. Right?
Mhm.
So what I would be doing if I were you, Lisa, I
Yeah.
would or you can do it every time you have a symptom, even better,
Right.
right? You take a few breaths,
Yeah.
you tune in, notice what's happening in your body,
Yeah.
acknowledge it, right? Oh, it must be my brain's inflamed. It must be this, it must be that. Acknowledge that, right?
Okay. So
And
acknowledge the
then
negative pathways first. Okay. Yeah.
absolutely, you must
Okay.
acknowledge it because otherwise that little child is going to shout even louder.
Mm.
And then
Okay.
you do the tapping on the collarbone,
Yeah.
repeating, right? What
So
you're
repeating what
feeling,
I'm
what you're
feeling, like, oh, I
thinking,
must be in a histamine flare. Da 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 da.
any sensations in your body. That's really important. Acknowledge what's happening in your body. This
Okay.
tightness, this stiffness, this whatever, this clenching, right? Whatever's going on, acknowledge that.
It's more
And
dizziness
then
and confusion. Yeah.
follow it by 3 to 5 positive affirmations. Now, this part is going to be really good. What could you say to yourself instead? That's sending soothing, comforting, loving, safety messages to your brain.
Um, so even though I'm having this like dizziness and confusion or whatever symptoms.
No. Stop there.
Okay.
Stop right
Okay.
there.
Okay.
You're already going to, if you're dizzy and confused, you're already going to be doing that when you're doing the releasing.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
This part,
Okay.
speak to yourself like a small child who is in distress, who's worried, who's concerned. She has
Okay.
this symptom. She doesn't know what it is. What
Yeah.
would you say to that small child?
Um, I know you're feeling distressed, but you are
No,
safe.
no, stop there. Again, you're going to the
Wait.
negative. You're
Okay.
distressed. You're going to the
Okay.
negative. Well, this is a small child you're speaking to, very
Right.
small child. And you're co-regulating with that child. You're
Okay.
co-regulating with them. What would you say?
I would say I would hug her and say, you're safe.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
okay. This will pass. Um, you're safe. I've got you. Nothing bad's gonna happen to you. No, don't say that. Sorry,
You
that's a
can say
negative.
that. Yes, you can say that. There's
Okay.
nothing, you're not in danger. You're okay. You're with
Okay, you're
me.
not
You're safe.
okay.
And
You're not
because
in danger.
also what you're saying is you're letting your brain know also that you're not in danger,
Right.
right? Yeah.
Okay. think I need a lot of work in that area.
We all
Practice,
do.
Lisa.
Time to
We
start
all
doing
do.
the one-on-one very soon with you, Lolita.
We can all practice. You can just practice doing positive affirmations every day if you want to. Spend 5 seconds of your day, just practice positive affirmations to
Just showing that
yourself.
it's hard
Just
to even
say,
come up with them shows you how I'm stuck in the negative,
does it
right?
does it help you if when I say to you, speak to that small child,
Yeah, because then I
lovingly,
realize,
soothingly, comforting? Yes.
yes, because underneath those symptoms, I realize I'm feeling very fearful. I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling scared. I'm feeling
Yeah.
frustrated that this is getting worse, not better. Yeah. So,
So they're all the things you want to say when you're doing this
right.
frustration, I'm scared, I'm fearful. Just let that go. Just let that go. But then when you get to the positive affirmations, guys, make them really good. If you can't imagine soothing, comforting a small child, imagine it's your dear loved grandmother or your best friend who's going through the same thing. What would you say to them? Sometimes it's really hard to say it to ourselves, but we can easily give it to somebody else,
Yeah,
that soothing,
true.
that comfort, right?
Yeah.
That loving.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So
Can
how do you feel about that? Does that make sense to you that what's actually overwhelming you is all the diagnoses that you're giving yourself? The labels that you're
Yeah.
giving yourself. And you're only doing that because you're trying to make sense of what's happening to you.
Yeah. I'm trying to
So
analyze it
practice
and understand it. Yeah.
when you do the positive affirmation, you want to bring in, this is just my hypersensitive nervous system. That's all it is. Thank you, brain. I love to always thank my brain. Thank you, brain, for pointing that out to me. There, I'm
mm,
listening to you now. I've got this.
mm,
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I need more sort of, what's the word? Understanding that a lot of this is being caused by that as opposed to, yeah, it's just where I am in my learning, of
And,
neuroplasticity, I
and a
think.
lot of
Yeah.
it, yeah, a lot of it is, Lisa, because you have the neural circuit for my symptoms are scary and it must be this, right? So you have a circuit for that. So if you start practicing this, you
Yeah.
might want to do it. Anything new that I bring in, I do
Yeah.
it for at least 21 days repetitively.
Okay.
Practice, practice, practice every
Yeah.
day. You might only want do it 3 times a day. Whatever you do is going to
Okay.
help that neural and try and see it from that neural circuit perspective
Right.
because the brain is controlling everything.
Yeah.
yeah,
The brain's in charge of everything.
yeah.
Yep. So the more you practice it, the more you're going to reduce that neural circuit for this overwhelm.
Yeah.
I look
I have
forward to hearing from
a
you how
question
you
too.
go with that. Yeah.
Yes. I just had a question on that though. If we know that, I know this is maybe my analytical brain, but this is what came up. If we know that 80% of the communication comes from the gut to the brain, not the other way around, right?
We don't
Bottom
know
up.
that. There's really
Oh,
very little evidence for that.
okay. Well, I've read
Dr.
that a few times.
Schubiner,
So, okay.
Dr. Schubiner, don't believe everything you read. Okay, things
Well,
are
to do with
just changed.
the vagus nerve stuff, right? And so if your
Things
gut is like very, what's the word? I was on antibiotics for 25 years. So I know I've got a lot of dysbiosis, leaky gut, and then the histamine just adds to it. So my brain might be reacting to the histamine, but that's also a realistic thing as well. Do you know what I'm
How
saying?
long ago was that, Lisa? How long ago
But
was that when you were on the antibiotics?
I was from 2000 and,
So a long
oh
time ago?
gosh. Well, no,
10, more
just
than 10 years ago?
no. Just been the last few years that I've stopped antibiotics, I guess. 2000
Right.
and, well, not less than 10 years. Yeah. But I was on them for
Okay.
25. Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
So you're on them for 25 years. It was about 10 years ago. It sounds like to me you have a belief that your gut hasn't repaired that it can't repair it.
Well, I didn't think you could repair it on its own. I thought you needed certain interventions to help that gut lining heal.
Just like we all do, prebiotic, probiotic. I take it every day for my gut. I take kefir. I eat yogurt. I eat
Yeah, but when you have
pickled fruit.
histamine,
I'm
you can't eat
Indian. We
fermented
eat
stuff.
pickles all the time for
Yeah.
our gut. So
No, but when you
just
have
by,
histamine intolerance, you can't eat fermented foods right now because your histamine bucket is overloading. Is
well,
it?
I would,
Yeah. Anyway.
the first
Okay.
thing I would do is concentrate on the nervous system.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once your nervous system is co-regulate with your nervous system, that's what I recommend everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sarah. Co-regulate with your nervous system. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Get that nervous system a bit less reactive and your
Yeah.
histamine issue will improve.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
And also your gut will improve
Okay.
by regulating your nervous system.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
And then help your gut with everything that we have available to us, with the
Right.
prebiotics, probiotics, etc. Your
Right.
gut can heal,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But first you have to believe that my gut can heal.
Yeah.
So the information that's out there, and Dr. Howard Schubin mentioned this in our last training,
Yeah.
and Dr. Clark says this, and a whole heap of pretty much all the mind body doctors
Yeah.
and practitioners will tell us that everything comes from the brain.
Okay.
So if you believe that it's the gut and the brain doesn't have anything to do with that, guess what will happen to your gut if you're no longer alive or just alive, say barely alive, and you remove the brain, what's going to happen to the gut? Is that going to keep working?
Nope.
No, no. So it's
I don't think so.
always the brain that's in charge of everything, right? Everything. What's the last thing that they do when somebody's been in a coma and finally they've got to turn the machine off? Turning off the brain. Whilst the
Mm.
brain is still going, right, the body's just going to keep going.
Okay.
But once you
Yeah.
turn the brain off, there's nothing there, nothing left, nothing works anymore. So the brain is always in charge.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
listen to the brain, acknowledge what the brain's trying to tell you. And or what I'm trying to do is teach you these little exercises, neuroplasticity exercises that will
Yeah.
help your brain to change, that will help those neural circuits to shift so they're not wiring and firing all the time.
Yeah.
Claire?
Well, I just have a question. One of my significant symptoms are migraines, and I'm sure I've done a number in my brain on how awful they are. So, what I've recently trying to do with this method, I have named my forehead. My when this pain starts coming, I've named her Fluffy. And
I
I
like that.
I say, because when I talk to the little girl, I like referring to Fluffy. Hey, it's just Fluffy, and the
Yes,
reason Fluffy is because I think of a blue sky with white puffy clouds, and they're airy and they're moving, they're not stagnant.
yes,
And this
yes.
pain is going to subside, and it's light and airy instead of intense and dark. So I tell my
Wonderful.
little girl, that's just Fluffy. She's trying to get our attention.
Yes. Yeah,
So
yeah.
let's just
That
say she's soft and tender. It's okay. You're safe. Fluffy's
it's
just
love.
trying to come out and play. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
lovely. And that will definitely help that neural pathway to shift and change, especially if you um interrupt it as the neurons are firing and wiring.
Yeah. I
Okay, so
love
as
that you
soon as
said
you
that. Yes.
notice the
Yes.
slightest little bit of an indication, oh, I might be in for a migraine. Because remember, we have that conditioned response,
Yep.
we have that predictive brain,
Mm-hmm.
which knows every little detail of the migraine and what's coming, and will go into that fear. So as soon as the neurons are firing and wiring for a migraine and you go to fluffy, you will definitely be helping that neural circuit to change. There's faster ways of doing it,
Mm-hmm.
but that will definitely help with everybody, no matter what it is. You know, give it a softer name, give it a more loving name. Hello
Yeah.
there, Oliver. Hello.
Hi.
Hey, good to see
Aw.
you. It must be your look, it must be your bedtime, is it? I better not get you too excited. Must be your bedtime nearly. Oh, he's going, oh. Kelly, would you like to share with everyone your wonderful win?
My wonderful what?
Only if you're
Win.
comfortable to, your win
Oh,
that
yeah.
you
So
messaged me.
yeah, I was able to take a walk today for the first time in about 6 weeks.
Good for
Yeah,
you.
how great is that, everyone?
Yep.
So proud of you.
Kudos.
Awesome,
Yeah,
Kelly. Awesome.
thank you.
Yeah, good job. And it's just going to get better. It's going to get better and better
Hopefully,
now.
that's
Yeah,
the
Kelly's
hope.
on. Look at you, gorgeous. Kelly's on the path to rewiring, aren't you? Rewiring your neural circuits.
Mm.
And how did it feel? Must have felt amazing.
I was just shocked. Like I was shocked, honestly. Like I couldn't
That your
believe it.
brain could change so quickly.
Yeah, that I could yeah, I did not expect anything like that.
Did you have any apprehension at all because you haven't been out? You haven't been able to go outside and
Yeah,
walk
I
and
was
do
so
that. Did you
nervous.
have any apprehension?
Yeah, I was very nervous that I wasn't going to be able to do it, or I would get to the park and then not be able to get home. And I was already like, the whole way there I was playing out in my head that I was going to have to like call my
Yes.
husband to come pick us up. But then
Uh-huh.
I
Mm.
immediately was just like, no, I don't want to have these types of thoughts because I'm just telling my brain that it's doing the right thing by giving me
Good
those fears.
job. Good job. Excellent. You
So,
interrupted those thoughts.
mhm,
Yes. Yep. And
yes.
you got there. You had a lovely
Mhm,
time and you got back. And how did
yeah.
you feel when you got back? How was your energy? How did you feel?
I was a little bit tired, not gonna lie. But it's already gone away. So I'm just a little sore because it's the most inactive I've ever been in my life. And I'm still like recovering from birth. Like, my pelvic floor
Yeah.
is a little bit out of shape right now.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
I have,
Yes.
but that's nothing that a couple sit-ups can't help eventually.
Yeah. And more walking, more getting out and
Yeah.
walking.
Yeah.
So what you can do, Kelly, is I'll send you, and I've done it with this group before, is the mental rehearsal. If
Hmm.
you can practice the mental rehearsal before you go out, that's going to soothe your brain and you'll have
Hmm.
less of a reaction and you
Yeah.
recover much faster because your
Yeah.
brain would have been predicting, oh, I've had a baby, I'm out of
Hmm.
physical fitness, um, I haven't been out of the house for a while. I don't know whether I'm going to make it back. Better keep my husband. By the way, your husband looks so much like Andrew Huberman. I thought Andrew Huberman was joining us.
Oh, geez. Oh, is it on his,
Yeah.
it's under his name?
When I
Oh,
saw his,
we
when I saw him on the screen, I was like, my goodness,
Oh.
Andrew Huberman's joining us.
I'll have to
Please let
tell him
him know
that.
how much he
I
looks like
will.
him.
He's apparently you look like Andrew Huberman. he, he takes that as a compliment.
Like my idol, right? One of my idols.
Yeah.
Yeah, so your brain will be in this conditioned response, expecting
Hmm.
you to not do so well. So using this mental rehearsal exercise before you go to do anything that's a little bit out of your comfort zone is a really wonderful way to retrain the brain and create the new neural circuits for being able to
Hmm.
do that before you do it. All right.
I guess it just made me realize like how much weight that holding on to past events in your life can affect your body.
Yeah, yeah. So, can I share with the guys what we
Yeah,
did?
yeah.
So Kelly contacted me, um, uh, feeling, incredibly fatigued and tired all the time. And she'd had the baby, but there was something else going on. And she was able to share with me some stresses, some early childhood stresses and events that happened in her life that may have been keeping her brain in that hyperprotective um, way. And so that's what her brain was, just keeping her safe by keeping her really tired and quiet and not being able to go outside, right? So we just
Mm,
used the memory reprocessing part of EAET. So what we did was EAET, Kelly, which is what Dr. Howard Schubiner teaches us. It's the gold standard, amazing evidence to show that it's absolutely the most powerful way to deal with the past unresolved and unprocessed emotions. And so we just picked one event that she had experienced in her life. We used the EAT method, and that memory completely changed and rescripted on its own, really, didn't it? It just
hmm.
rescripted by itself. And so, what we did was we shifted a huge neural circuit for stress and fear and just a whole lot of emotions that Kelly wouldn't have been able to express when she was that little girl experiencing that event. And just by
Hmm.
doing that, just by shifting that, her brain came back online, came out of the fear, and she was able to. Was it that day or the next day? You
The
went
next
for
day.
this walk the next
Yeah, I
day.
felt, but like I even made breakfast when I woke up, which I haven't. I've been eating cereal for 6 weeks. So just
Another great win, making breakfast. Yay, good
yeah,
healthy breakfast.
yeah,
And yeah, so this is the nervous system regulating again,
yeah.
right?
It kind of just made me feel like there's a lot to now. Like this is just the start of like a whole process.
Yes, yeah. And
Hmm.
Kelly has tried. You've tried in the past, haven't you? Using
Yeah,
therapy and medication and
yeah.
all kinds of things.
It was like a lot of brain spotting, and I just never could get anywhere with it.
Yeah, yeah,
But this was
yeah.
like and like my OCD is obviously still there, so I kept all day today going back to like last night and trying to think about that event that we spoke about and just to check on it,
Wow.
because my OCD is like,
What
oh,
and
is it still there?
what
And
happened? Yeah, what
it's just
happened?
like it's like it it's like the first scenario, like the original story is just gone, and the one
Wow.
that I replaced it with is
Even an
staying.
OCD brain couldn't bring it back.
I know.
How awesome is that? I love
Yeah,
that. Thank you so much for
yeah.
sharing that, because that just
Hmm.
shows how powerful the technique is,
Yeah.
right? That even an
Mhm.
OCD brain could not bring that event back,
Yeah.
right? It's been resolved, it's been rescripted, and now
Hmm.
there's not a neural circuit for that, right?
Hmm.
And
And that
yeah,
specific
you
one
can
was
go
like,
on.
yeah, it made me like always, I think that that specific event always made me feel like it was my responsibility to help like to put other people before me.
That's right, that's right.
And
Yeah.
like even
When
today,
we
like small instances, I was able to be like, how is this going to help me or the other person?
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
When we're faced with events like that in our life, particularly in those early years, we kind of make these oaths to ourselves. We don't realize we're doing it, but we make an inner kind of pledge, an inner promise to ourselves, that I will be like this. I will do
Hmm.
this. I will never let that happen. to me. And we make those oaths, and they become our map of how we live our life. For me, it was, I can't bear to see anybody suffer. I have to help them. And I was doing that from a very young age. I would go to school with a little bag, like a first aid kit bag. And so if anybody fell over or hurt themselves or anything like that, all the other kids would say, "Oh, go and see Lolita, she'll patch you up." So,
Yeah.
because I made an oath from when I was very young that I couldn't bear to see anybody suffer. So I was going to help them. And if I saw anyone being bullied at school, by gee, I was in there helping them.
Yeah.
Anyone that's getting picked on, anybody that wasn't getting picked. You know how at school they do this horrible thing where you you
I
you
know.
pick
Yeah.
you pick your favorite people, right? Guess
Mhm.
who I used to pick? And I was the popular kid at school. I was the leader, the whatever, at school. I
Mhm.
didn't know how I was doing that, but I seemed to be in those positions. So guess what I would do? I would pick those kids that never got picked.
Yeah.
I'd pick them first. And I was doing that from a really young age, and I never understood any of it until I started doing this work, going, okay, that's what's going on. I made a pledge because I saw so much suffering and I had my own suffering. I didn't want anybody else to suffer.
Mhm.
I used to ask my dad when I was really young. He was a lawyer, and I would get his books, his law books about criminals, and I'd read those. I was probably only about 10. I was, and I'm still into murder mysteries, right? Murder mysteries, and my granddaughter is as well. We read them together, we watch them together. So I would say to him, why did they do that? Why are they doing this? Why are they behaving like that? Right? And he would just say to me, "Oh, I don't know." But I could see from a very early age that people were suffering, and I
Mhm.
wanted to ease their suffering. And here I am, a full circle. I'm back helping people who are suffering
I love that.
because I made that pledge when I was young. And we all do that, don't we? I'm going to be the best mother I can possibly be. I'm going to be the best father I can possibly be because my dad was never around for me.
Mhm.
And so we will sacrifice ourselves to be that best dad that we want to be. I see
Mhm.
that all the time with my dads that I work with. They
Yeah.
push themselves and they just suffer so much
Mhm.
because they've made that pledge.
Mhm.
I'm never going to abandon my children because I was abandoned.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, Kelly, you're well on the way to,
Hopefully. I feel like I just
yeah,
opened a little surface of the door, you
yeah.
know.
And
But now I'm
and
excited to heal.
the good thing about this work is that we do the deeper work on those memories, on the history, and then we also use tools. So to really shift neural pathways, we need to do both, right? Because that's just how the brain learns. So say, for example, when you're learning to drive a car, you'd get in the car with your adult and they would take you through how to change gears and all of that, right? But if you
Mhm.
didn't keep practicing that, because you had to do like so many hours, right, to qualify to get
Mhm.
your license, you've got to be practicing it. If you didn't keep practicing what you were shown to do, you're not going to get your license, are you? You're not going to be able
Mhm.
to feel really comfortable to drive, are you?
Yeah.
Same with this, right? So you can do the deeper work, but then you've got to use your tools, your brain rewiring tools every day, right? Not like in a strict I have to do it's on my list. No, just becoming aware of what's happening inside of me. What's my brain trying to tell me through my feelings, through my thoughts, this overwhelm, through sensations in our bodies, symptoms, all these different ways that our brain is talking to us, sending us messages
Do the
to,
messages eventually stop?
yeah, the
Okay.
patterns stop. We always want the messages to be there because we want our brain to keep us safe. Don't go too
Hmm.
close to that cliff. We want that. Don't go too
Yeah.
close to that fire. We want that. But the patterns that have been developed throughout our life, mostly not of our making, of others, right?
Hmm.
Because they had their wounds as well. Those ones we can change in the brain, the ones we don't want, you know. So for me, I was the worst self-critic. I was
Hmm.
a shocker, right? Always beating myself up in my head. You're such a
Hmm.
terrible mother. How you don't know how to be a mother? How can you be a mother? You have
Hmm.
no idea what you're doing. These cruel things I used to say to myself. I refuse to do that any longer, right? Because
Hmm.
that's not mine. It wasn't my fault that I lost my mother when I was 2 years old and now doubt myself as a mother. That was not my fault. So I don't want that any longer. And
Hmm.
that was a pattern that I noticed within myself what I was doing. And even my children used to go off at me. Stop saying that, Mum. You're not a terrible mother.
Hmm.
Right. So I didn't want that anymore. So I went to work on that. Okay. So the patterns you can change, the programming, the conditioning, anything that's not helpful, useful for you to live the life that you're meant to live, right? Full of joy, contentment,
Hmm.
peace, to have a happy life, a fulfilling life. Those things get in the way. So
Right.
I'm determined to change all of that and
Hmm.
no more symptoms. For me, no more debilitating pain or any other symptoms, and I'm staying well. Yes, I got COVID a while ago and I'm dealing with that, but it's very minor, very, very
Hmm.
minor. And I'm using these same tools and techniques. So daily tools and techniques to keep practicing so you can become a really good driver of your brain, and then doing the deeper work to address the history, the past
Hmm.
that wasn't of your making. Yeah,
Hmm.
makes sense?
Hmm.
Good job. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. We've gone way over time. I'll try and shorten the video a bit. But once I've edited it or whatever, I'll share it with you guys, okay, so you can watch it again, and I'll send you through that document. But let's get on top of that overwhelm, hey? All right,
Hmm.
and keep improving, Kelly. Keep enjoying
I
your
will.
little
I'll be
baby.
in
He's just
touch.
adorable.
Okay, I'll be in
Okay.
touch.
Bye
Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye, Marin. Bye,
Bye.
Donna. Bye.